Okay, happy Sabbath to all of us.
Happy Sabbath.
In this beautiful Sabbath day, we will continue from our series that we have this past two Sabbath about the seven deadly sins. We have talked about greed and about sloth. And now, on this Sabbath day, we will talk about anger. We all know what is anger. Anger is a basic human emotion that is universal, and it's something that everybody feels and can relate to. Typically, triggered by an emotional hurt, anger is usually experienced as an unpleasant feeling that occurs when you think you have been injured, mistreated, opposed in your long-held dreams, or when you're faced with obstacles that keep you from attaining personal goals. As we can see in the next slide, we have all experienced anger. From our birth to our teen, childhood, teen, adult, and till the end of our lives. Anger has been with us at the worst moment of our life. It is natural and expected. It also has been with us through our special occasions, such as wedding and vacations, that are often marred by this everyday frustration that feel horrible at moments, but then forget. We can see the next slide. Anger has always been a part of human experience, and it seems that nowadays it has become a toxic proportions in our culture. As we can see, every day there is unrest. People are angry at each other. People are angry at someone. We live in an era when there is harass and knife-edge quality to daily life. And people seem to be terminally fed. So, why is anger considered as one of the seven deadly sins? We would see in the next slide a video of what I would call the domino effect of anger. As we can see in the video, it's a bit exaggerated, but in truth, that's how anger works. It can affect people around us, and not only us. And so sometimes we see anger as a problem. But why? First, we will talk about why people get angry. Why do we get mad? A research has been done from countless interviews, questions, and research asking about what makes a person tick. And a common ground have been found from all of it, that is provocations. It can be something like a major provocation, something complex, to something simple and minor. And for the themes of the provocation, usually is that we are in an unpleasant situation. We feel what happens to us is unfair. Our goals are blocked, and we cannot avoid the situation, leaving us feeling powerless. Next, we will talk about the physiology of anger. It's important to remember that anger is not only an emotional response, it is a biochemical response as well. The human body is equipped with an automatic defensive system called the fight or flight mechanism, which prepares the entire body for action when we are threatened or attacked. Emotions, more or less, begin inside two almond-shaped structures in our brains, which are called the amygdala. The amygdala is the part of the brain responsible for identifying threats to our well-being and for sending out an alarm when threats are identified and result in us taking steps to protect ourselves. The amygdala is so efficient at warning us about threats that it gets us reacting before the cortex. The part of the brain responsible for thought and judgment is able to check on the reasonableness of our reaction. In other words, our brain are wired in such a way as to influence us to act before we can properly consider the consequences of our actions. As we become angry, our body's muscle tense up. Inside our brain, neurotransmitter chemicals are released, causing us to experience a burst of energy, lasting up to several minutes. This burst of energy is behind the common angry desire to take immediate protective action. At the same time, our heart rate accelerates, our blood pressure rises, and our rate of breath increases. Our face may flush as increased blood flow enters our extremities in preparation for physical action. Our attention narrows and becomes locked on to the target of our anger. Soon, we can pay attention to nothing else. In quick succession, additional brain neurotransmitters and hormones are released, which trigger a lasting state of arousal. You are now ready to fight. That's why it is considered one of the 7 deadly sins. If uncontrolled, can lead to calamitous result. That's why the Apostle James wrote in James 1 verse 19 to 20 is that, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God." We as Christians, we are not immune to the feeling of anger. But if we are to live righteous and Christ-like lives, anger must be brought under the control of the Holy Spirit in the believer's life. We'll take a look at some of the stories about the negative effect of anger in the Bible. See the next slide. The anger of Cain. We all know anger. They said that anger can be as old as Cain. In the first book of the Bible, Genesis 4, we can find that Cain is angry with his brother, Abel. In fact, he's so angry at Abel that he killed him. We all know the story behind the incident. Both of them gave an offering. One is accepted, one found favor in the eyes of God, and one did not. And so, he's angry as to why his offering is not accepted by God. And then